I killed my father on the day he tried to bury me alive in a shallow grave behind the old family cabin in the Adirondacks, his arthritic hands clawing at my throat while he whispered apologies that tasted like lies. But here's the sick twist. I didn't pull the trigger, I just handed him the gun, loaded with blanks, and watched his empire crumble from the shadows I'd built while he thought I was rotting in a cell for his sins. And the real gut punch? That one-way ticket to nowhere he slipped into my birthday card wasn't exile. It was his final confession, scrawled on the back in fading ink. Forgive me, son, or join me in hell. The envelope sat on the scarred oak kitchen table like a bad omen, the kind that shows up uninvited at 3 a.m. with a bottle of cheap bourbon and a grudge. It was my 35th birthday, and the house in Queens, our house, the one Dad had clawed from the gutter trash loans of Bensonhurst bookies, smelled like stale coffee and regret. Mom was long gone, vaporized by a hit-and-run on the Van Wyck Expressway when I was 12, leaving behind nothing but faded Polaroids and a recipe for manicotti that tasted like ash. Dad? He was the king of this crumbling castle.
Victor Hale.
The man who could charm a jury or choke a debtor with the same silver-tongued grin. I tore open the card, expecting the usual, a hallmark platitude about building legacies, while he nursed his third scotch. Instead, out fluttered a single Amtrak ticket. One way. Chicago to Seattle. Departure, tomorrow. No return. My stomach dropped like a lead weight in the East River. What's this? I muttered, but he was already in the living room, the Mets game droning on the ancient Zenith TV, his laugh barking over some strikeout. Read the back. Kid, he called, not looking up. His voice had that gravelly edge, the one that said he'd already won whatever game we were playing. I flipped it. There, in his looping script, underlined twice, time to start fresh. Love, Dad. Fresh. Like I was some moldy loaf of bread he could toss out. I crumpled it in my fist, the paper cutting into my palm like a promise. But I didn't say a word. Not then. Because Victor Hale's gifts always came with strings, barbed wire ones, dipped in venom. You see, I'd spent the last decade playing the good son, the loyal shadow, while he built his consulting firm, code for shaking down unions and laundering cash through Atlantic City casinos. I'd been the invisible gear in the machine, fetching coffees laced with bribes, forging signatures on shell company docs, and once, just once, taking the heat for a deal gone south. That deal? A waterfront development in Red Hook that buried 2 bodies under the foundation. Not mine, but Dad's. He swore it was an accident, overzealous enforcers. He said, but the cops needed a fall guy. And who better than the dumb kid with a juvie record for boosting cars? So I confessed. 15 years ago, at 20, I pled out to manslaughter. Did 8 months in Rikers. Came out with tattoos that mapped every betrayal like a subway line to nowhere. Dad visited once. Slipped me a shank wrapped in a family photo. Whispered, "You're the strong one, Tommy. This makes us unbreakable." Unbreakable.
Yeah, right.
That word echoed in my skull as I stared at the ticket, the Mets crowd roaring like a distant storm. I should have burned it right there. Watched the flames lick up his bullshit like holy fire. But I didn't. Instead, I pocketed it, poured us both a drink, and toasted to new beginnings.
He clinked his glass,
eyes gleaming like a shark's in chummed water. Attaboy. Seattle's got opportunity. Tech boom. Clean slate.
Clean.
The word hung between us, thick as cigar smoke.
He had no idea.
No clue that while he was golfing with made men at Diker Beach, I'd been grinding in the dark web's underbelly, coding algorithms that predicted market crashes before the suits in Midtown even hit their espresso. It started small, freelance gigs for offshore hedge funds, scraping data from Wall Street's digital dumpster. Then, a lucky break, a virus I wrote to siphon crumbs from a corrupt broker's trades. Crumbs that snowballed into millions. By year 3, I had shell accounts in the Caymans, a penthouse alias in Soho I never used, and enough leverage to topple small banks if I sneezed. Billionaire? Hell, I was a ghost with a fortune. Untouchable. But I kept it buried, deeper than those Red Hook foundations.
Why?
Because family. Loyalty. The lies we tell ourselves to sleep at night. That night, as the city hummed beyond the fire escape, sirens wailing like lost souls, I lay in my boyhood bed, the ticket mocking me from the nightstand. Dad's snores rattled through the thin walls, a symphony of indifference. I thought about Mom's accident, the skid marks that never matched any vehicle, the insurance payout that bought this house. Dad's good fortune, he called it. And the whispers from his crew. Victor always lands on his feet. Sleep didn't come. Instead, memories clawed up Riker's cold concrete. The shanks weighed in my sock. The day I walked free to a hero's welcome from the man who'd sold me out. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. The kind of New York morning that promises rain and delivers heartbreak. I packed a duffel, jeans, a Glock Dad didn't know I'd kept from the old days, and my laptop, encrypted tighter than Fort Knox. The ticket burned a hole in my pocket as I kissed his forehead goodbye, his skin papery, veins like rivers on a map of regrets. Make me proud, Tommy, he murmured, half asleep.
Proud.
The word tasted like bile. On the platform at Penn Station, amid the crush of commuters clutching briefcases like shields, I stared at the train's silver flank. One way. Exile.
Or was it freedom?
My phone buzzed, a Cayman alert. Another 8 figures from a short on Tesla derivatives. I could have bought the damn railroad. But as the conductor called all aboard, something snapped. Not rage. Not yet.
Clarity.
Victor Hale had spent a lifetime flipping tables, betraying partners, lovers, even his own blood. He'd buried secrets deeper than bodies, and I dug them up one by one in the code's cold glow. I boarded. But not to run. To return. With interest. The ride north was a blur of rusting rail yards and forgotten factories, the Hudson churning like my gut. Chicago loomed, a steel beast under slate skies. But I detrained in Albany, rented a black Escalade under a fake name,
and pointed it east.
Back to the city. Back to him. My mind raced, piecing the puzzle I'd ignored for years, the offshore accounts Dad skimmed from, the consulting fees that mirrored my early hacks, the way his eyes darted when I mentioned crypto. He'd known. Somehow, he'd always known I was rising. And this ticket?
It was his kill switch.
Cut the golden goose before it flew the coop. By nightfall, I was parked across from the house, shadows cloaking me like an old friend. Lights flickered in the window, Dad, pacing, phone to his ear, arguing with someone. His crew? A new mark? I tapped into the dark web, cross-referencing his plates with traffic cams. Bingo. A meet tonight, midnight, at the old pier in Sheepshead Bay. With Frankie the Fish Moretti. A relic from the Gambino days. The one who'd pulled the trigger in Red Hook. Revenge isn't a flash fire. It's a slow burn. Embers in your veins. I waited, engine idling like a predator's breath. When he slipped out, trench coat flapping like broken wings, I followed. The city swallowed us whole, neon veins pulsing with secrets. And in that moment, ticket discarded in the glove box, I realized this wasn't about money. It was about the grave he'd dug for me, the one I was about to fill. The pier reeked of diesel and dead fish, the kind of scent that clings to your soul like a curse. Moonlight sliced through the fog, turning the water into a mirror of shattered glass. Dad's town car idled at the end, exhaust curling like cigarette smoke from a dying man's lungs. I killed the Escalade's lights a block back, slipped out silent as a shadow, Glock heavy in my waistband. Not that I'd use it, not yet. Bullets are messy. Information is the real blade. Frankie was already there, leaning against a rusted pylon, his fedora tilted like a challenge. 60-something, but built like a concrete barrier, scarred knuckles, eyes like chipped flint. He'd done time for Dad once. Back in the 90s, a Union bust that left 3 welders floating in the Gowanus. Loyalty, they called it. Blind idiocy, more like. Dad emerged from the car, flask glinting as he took a pull. Frankie, you old bastard. Still swimming upstream. They clasped hands, the ritual of made men. But tension hummed like a live wire. I crept closer, boots muffled on the warped planks, close enough to catch fragments on the wind. The kids sniffing around, Dad was saying, voice low.
Urgent.
Tommy's got ideas. Big ones. I need you to handle it, quiet. Frankie's laugh was a wet rasp. Handle? Like Red Hook? You owe me for that.
Beak.
The boy's blood, your blood. What did he do? Steal your lunch money. Dad's silhouette stiffened. He took the fall. Yeah.
But now?
He's a liability. Found my books. The offshore shit. Thinks he's slick with his computers. I give him the ticket. He bolts. Problem solved. If not, a pause. Heavy as a coffin lid. You remember the canal, Frankie. Quick drop. No splash. My blood turned to ice, then fire. Liability. That's what I was now, the son who'd carried his cross, only to be nailed to it. The canal. Where Mom's car had ended up. Twisted metal in the murk. Coincidence? Bullshit. Dad's voice droned on, haggling price like I was a used Buick, 50 grand, half up front. Frankie grunted agreement, and they sealed it with another clasp. I backed away, heart pounding a war drum, mind spinning code like a virus. This wasn't just betrayal, it was erasure. A lifetime of grooming me as the patsy, the disposable Hale. And the money? I'd funneled millions through his firm anonymously, propping up his delusions of grandeur. He knew. He'd always known. Skimming my digital heists to fund his vices, hookers in Jersey.
Horses at Belmont.
The ticket was mercy. His version, run or die. But mercy's for suckers. I fired up the laptop in the Escalade, fingers flying. First, a trace on Frankie's phone, burner, but sloppy. Location pinged a dive bar in Brighton Beach. Next, Dad's accounts. I'd embedded backdoors years ago, just in case. One tap. And wires reversed, 50 grand rerouted to a DEA tip line. Tagged with keywords, Gambino, extortion. Let the feds chew on that bone. By 2 a.m., I was back in Queens, slipping through the alley like a ghost. The house was dark, but I knew his habits. Nightcap in the den, revolver under the lazy boy. I didn't knock. The back door creaked open, and there he was, slumped in his armchair. Flask empty. TV flickering infomercials for miracle cures. He didn't hear me until the floorboard groaned. Tommy? His head snapped up, eyes bleary but sharpening fast. The hell? Train leave without you. I stepped into the lamplight, Glock loose in my hand, not aimed, just present. Seattle's too rainy for my blood. Dad.
Besides,
I got a better offer. His gaze flicked to the gun, then back. Calculating. Always calculating. Put that away.
Son.
We're family. The words slithered out, oily as ever. He rose slow, hands open, the actor in full swing. Whatever Frankie's feeding you lies. I sent you away to protect you. The life's closing in. Tommy. Fed circling. You deserve out. Protect. I laughed, bitter as black coffee. Like you protected Mom? Or me and Rikers? His face twitched a microtel, the kind I'd learned to spot in poker dens. He knew I was close. Don't drag your mother into this. Voice hardening, the mask cracking. She was weak. Drove into that canal chasing ghosts.
You wanna chasing too?
I closed the distance, gun steady now. Ghosts like the payout that bought this shithole? Or the enforcer who retired after? I pulled the threads. Dad. All of them. Red Hook wasn't enforcers gone wild, it was you. Tying off loose ends on that development scam. Councilman Ellis. The union rep, they crossed you. So you crossed them out. And I ate the time. He deflated. Just a fraction. But it was enough. You were young. Malleable. It built character. Character. Like I was some pulp novel hero. And the money? Yeah. I borrowed from your ventures. Needed it for the firm. We're partners.
Tommy.
Always were. Partners. The lie burned. I pressed the barrel to his temple, cold metal kissing wrinkled skin. His breath hitched, but no plea, just a sigh. Resigned. Do it. Then. End the cycle. But you'll carry it. Same as me. My finger tightened. The shot didn't come. Instead, I holstered the Glock, pulled a USB drive from my pocket. Partners don't bury each other. Check your phone. He fumbled for it, squinting at the screen. Alerts flooded in, accounts frozen.
IRS lien.
A text from Frankie, feds on us.
Bic.
Your kid ratted. His face drained white, then purple. You little shit. You think this ruins me?
Eva flipped vers.
Flipped. I leaned in, voice a whisper. Like flipping me to the wolves?
Nah.
This is just the appetizer. I turned, leaving him sputtering curses, the den's door slamming like a guillotine.
Outside.
The rain started. Biblical sheets washing the streets clean. Or trying to. I drove aimless. Mind a storm of code and fury. Revenge wasn't killing him. Not yet. It was dismantling the throne he'd built on my back. By dawn, I'd leaked docs to a time stringer. Hale Consulting's ties to mob hits. Laundered funds traced to my anonymous streams. The byline would hit tomorrow. Queen's kingpin's empire crumbles, son's shadow looms. But as sirens wailed in the distance, first responders to Dad's panic call, doubt crept in. Was this justice? Or just trading one grave for another? Family's a drug, and withdrawal hurts like hell. The headlines hit like a freight train at rush hour. Splashed across the Post's front page, mobbed up in Queens, Dad's dirty deals exposed by mystery hacker son. I read it in a diner off the Bruckner. Eggs congealing on the plate. Coffee bitter as the irony. Victor Hale, the untouchable, reduced to a grainy mugshot from his 80s bookmaking bust. Caption screaming fallen father faces ruin. My byline was ghosted. Of course, sources close to the family, but the devil was in the details. Wire transfers I doctored to loop back to him. Emails forged with his tells, that damn best regards. VH sign-off. Dad called at noon. Voice a chainsaw through the burner, I left in the booth. You happy now? You ungrateful prick? Feds kicking in doors. Frankie's singing like a canary. This is blood.
Tommy.
Our blood. I let him rage. Static crackling like his empire's last gasp. Come home. We fix this. Like always. Like always. The words hooked deep, yanking at the boy who'd idolized him, watching from the fire escape as he wheeled and dealed in backrooms, promising me a seat at the table someday. That boy died in Rikers, shanked by a lifer who mistook silence for weakness. The man on the line,
He was forged in that fire.
billionaire in shadows, waiting for the mask to slip.
No fixies. Dad.
Just fallout. I hung up, tossed the phone in a storm drain, and hit the road west, real west this time, toward the cabin. The Adirondacks, where summers meant fishing lies and winters had bodies. Mom's favorite spot, before the canal claimed her. Or before Dad did. The drive was 6 hours of asphalt meditation. Finger Lakes blurring past like half-remembered dreams. My mind replayed the flips. Dad's charm offensive after Rikers. Hiring me as consultant, feeding me scraps while siphoning my code gold. The time he loaned me to a Jersey crew, only for them to ghost me mid-job, left me holding a bag of hot merch in a Newark warehouse. Sirens closing in. I'd talked my way out, but the lesson stuck. Trust is a luxury for marks. By dusk, the cabin loomed, sagging porch. Pines clawing the roof like accusatory fingers. I hadn't been back since I was 16. The summer Dad taught me to gut a deer. Cut clean.
Son. No mess.
The key was under the mat. Rusted but turning. Inside, dust motes danced in flashlight beams. Air thick with mildew and memory. Mom's quilt on the bed. Faded florals like spilled blood. I set up in the kitchen, laptop humming. Screens blooming with feeds, Dad's tapped phone. Traffic cams. Even a drone I dispatched over the Queen's house. He was holed up.
All right.
Paranoia mode. Curtains drawn. Burner calls to old allies who ghosted him faster than a bad bet. One name popped. Elena Vasquez. His executive assistant for 15 years. The one who'd consolidated his books while I rotted. A quick scrape, LinkedIn ghosts. Tax filings, and there it was, her Cayman account. Fat with my diversions.
Cozy.
But deeper dig. Wedding license. Filed quiet in Vegas. 2012. While I was inside. Mrs.
Victor Hale.
The betrayal layered like an onion, each peel stinging fresh. Rage boiled, but I channeled it, code compiling a worm. Targeted. By midnight, Elena's phone lit up. Bank alerts. IRS knocks. I anonymous tip to her salon chain, mob widow? She'd flip. I knew it. Women like her always did. Claws out for survival. Dad's empire wasn't stone, it was cards. And I was the dealer now. Sleep came fitful. Dreams of the canal, Mom's taillights vanishing. Dad's hand on my shoulder. She was tired.
Kid.
Rest now. Woke sweating, Glock in hand. Dawn brought email from the Times stringer. Victor Hale arrested. Money laundering. Conspiracy to murder. Your tip gold want more? Murder. They had Red Hook now. Bodies exhumed. DNA pinging to Frankie's crew. But not Dad.
Not yet.
He was the ghost. Flipping pleas for immunity. I drove into town. Saranac Lake's main drag a postcard of Americana, folksy shops. Leaf peepers in Subarus. Bought burner. Coffee. And intel from the librarian. Old land deeds. The cabin's history. Buried in microfiche, a 1995 transfer. Dad's name. But leans from a dispute with Ellis, the councilman from Red Hook. Ellis, who'd vanished pre-pour. The secret unspooled. Dad hadn't just killed for the deal. He'd framed Mom's accident to cash in her policy, paying off Ellis's silence. Then silenced him permanent. And I, the mop-up boy, confessing to cover the crew. Back at the cabin, I paced, the weight crushing. Billionaire. And what? A throne of pixels. Empty, without reckoning. Phone buzzed, Elena. Tommy? God. The news. Your father. He's sobs. Theatrical. He told me everything. The fall you took. Said you were unstable. But I know better. Meet me. Neutral ground. Help me bury this.
Bury.
The word echoed. I agreed tomorrow. Neutral, the old pier. Full circle. As night fell, stars pricking the ink-black sky, I loaded the Glock for real. Blanks?
No.
This time, truth's recoil. But doubt not, was Elena the flipper? Or another Patsy? Dad's women always were, bait on his hook. And me, hooked deepest. The pines whispered warnings. Wind like Mom's sigh. Revenge's path was clear, but the fork loomed. Kill the beast. Or become it. Elena arrived at the pier like a scene from a Scorsese flick, red dress clinging like regret. Heels clicking defiance on the salt-cracked wood. Dawn painted the bay pink. Fishing boats chugging out like reluctant soldiers. She spotted me leaning on the railing. Laptop bag at my feet. Glock invisible under my jacket. Her eyes, dark. Calculating, flicked over me. Appraising.
Tommy Hale.
The ghost returns. We'd met once. Post-Rikers. Her typing invoices while Dad briefed me on loyalty. She'd smiled then. Pitying. Like I was a stray he'd dragged in.
Now?
No pity. Just hunger. Coffee, she offered, extending a styrofoam cup from the city. Steam curling like a truce flag. Black. Like my mood. I took it. Sipped bitter. Laced with something?
Nah.
Paranoia. We walked. Waves lapping accusations. Heard about the cuffs. Feds love a family drama. She laughed. Sharp as shattered glass. Drama? It's apocalypse for him. But you lit the match. Why now? Her accent slipped Jersey Spanish. The mask thinning. I laid it out, the ticket. The canal chat with Frankie. The digital autopsy of their marriage. Her face cycled shock, denial, then a sly tilt. Vic always said you were smart. Too smart.
He feared that.
You know. After Red Hook, when you didn't crack in the joint. He drank more. Talked in sleep about finishing the job. Finishing. The word chilled deeper than the wind off the Atlantic. And you, his queen in the castle, skimming my code cash for spa days. She stopped, eyes flashing. Skimming? I earned every cent. He had me forge the books, launder through my salons. Said it was our future. Then the accident, your mom's. He cried for weeks. Or pretended to. A pause. Her gaze distant. I found the payout docs. Timed, perfect.
But Vic?
He's a chameleon.
Tommy.
Flips for survival. Loved your mom once. Then flipped to grief. Loved me. Then flipped to fear when you rose. Flipped. The theme of our bloodline. I pressed. The meat. You setting me up? She pulled a thumb drive from her clutch. Photos. Grainy. Dad and Frankie. 2012. Post-wedding. Torching Ellis's car in a junkyard. Insurance. For me. But maybe for you too. We're both ghosts now.
Alliance? Tempting.
But trust's a fool's game. I pocketed it, nodded toward the Escalade. Ride with me.
Cabin.
We plan. She hesitated, then slid in, perfume cutting the leather staleness. The drive north was tense dialogue, her spilling dad's flips, betraying his own brother to the feds in '89 for plea, romancing a DA's wife for drop charges.
Me.
Countering with code cracks, her accounts drained.
Slow.
To motivate. At the cabin, we hunkered in the kitchen, laptop screens glowing like Ouija boards. I showed her the worm's path, tunneling to dad's servers, exposing the full web, hits, bribes, even a cold case linked to mom's canal dive. Diversion, I said. Cops chase ghosts. He slips the net. Elena's fingers trace the code. Impressed. You're a wizard.
Tommy.
He never saw it, blind to his own shadow. We worked. Hours blurring, coffee cold, pizza boxes piling. She opened up, orphaned young, clawed from Bronx projects via dad's mentorship. Stockholm deep. He saved me. Then owned me. Vulnerability cracked her armor. And damn if it didn't stir something, pity? Kinship? By midnight, the plan solidified. Bait dad to the cabin. Confront with evidence. Force a flip on Frankie for immunity. He'll beg, she said. And we'll watch him break. But as she slept on the couch, quilt tucked gentle, doubt festered. Her story rang true, but flips run deep. I slipped outside, stars indifferent overhead, and called a contact, dark web fixer.
Ixenisa.
Run Vasquez. Deep. Reply came swift. Elena linked to a 2010 scam. Fleecing seniors for dad's crew. Loyal or opportunist? Dawn brought decision. I woke her with bacon, the sizzle masking my turmoil. We're in, she asked, eyes hopeful. All in. Lie tasted sour. The call to dad was scripted. My voice. Burner trace. Cabin. Midnight. Come alone, or the full drop hits WikiLeaks.
Click.
He arrived early. Headlights cutting the dark like accusations. Trench coat. Revolver bulge. Face haggard, whiskey and worry etching new lines. Elena met him at the door. Embrace feigned. Tears Oscar-worthy.
Vic.
The boys lost it. Help him. He bought it. Stepping in. Eyes locking mine across the room.
Son.
The word heavy. Laced with faint. This ends tonight. Family first. He moved casual. But I saw the tell hand-inching pocket. I drew first. Glock steady. Hands up. Dad. Or whatever's left of your legacy airs live. He froze. Then smiled, that shark grin. Legacy? You think pixels scare me? I've buried better men.
Elena gasped teatrical.
But her eyes darted. To me?
Him. Flip.
The standoff stretched. Fire crackling accusations. Dad monologued. Flipping blame. You were weak.
Tommy.
Needed hardening. Mom? She flipped first. Threatened to sing to the DA. Canal was mercy. Lie or truth. My gut twisted.
Elena whimpered. Vic. No.
But her hand slipped. Toward her purse? Chaos erupted. Dad lunged.
Elena screamed.
I fired, warning. Ceiling splintering. He tackled me. Fists raining. Old man rage. You owe me, he roared. We rolled. Grunting beasts. Elena circling. Phone out. Recording? Calling? I bucked him off. Glock skittering. He grabbed it. Breath ragged. End it.
Son.
Be the man. Barrel to my head. Elena's voice cut. Do it.
Vic.
Clean. Betrayal's double tap. But I laughed. Bloodied.
Pull it.
Blanks. Remember? His eyes widened. The shank from Rikers. Swapped years ago.
Click.
Empty. He crumpled. Elena fleeing into night. I rose. Alone with the husk of my father. Revenge? Or just the flip I'd always feared? The cabin silence after Elena's taillights vanished was deafening. Broken only by Dad's wheezing sobs on the floorboards, defeated king. Crown of lies shattered. I didn't cuff him, no need. The worm had already pinged the state troopers. Location shared.
Évidence paquet en route.
Why? Tommy, he croaked. Scrambling up. Back to the wall like a cornered rat. I built this for us. Bullshit. I paced. Adrenaline crashing into Fury's reef. You built it on graves.
Mom's.
Ellis's.
Mean it.
The photos from Elena's drive burned in my pocket, irrefutable now. Time-stamped alibis crumbling. He flipped again. Eyes pleading. She was collateral. The payout saved us from ruin. You were 10, hungry. I did it for you.
For me.
The oldest lie. Wrapped in paternal velvet. I grabbed his collar. Slammed him against the stone hearth. Hungry? Like the months after. When you blew it on blackjack and broads. While I scavenged dumpsters. His breath reeked. Scotch and surrender. Elena. She put you up to this.
Elena.
I shoved harder. Your wife's halfway to Rio by now. Accounts I froze this morning. Lie he'd never know. But close. My fixer had her flagged at JFK. Passport dud. She'd flip on him soon enough. Trading vows for a plea. Dad's face cycled, rage. Betrayal. Calculation. That bitch. Always knew she'd sell.
Sell.
Like father. Like wife. Sirens wailed distant. Closing in like fate's hounds. I stepped back. Glock dangling loose. Troopers in 10. You'll sing about Frankie. The hits. Mom too. If you're smart, he laughed. Hollow. Sing? I'll bury you both in testimony. Immunity's a hell of a drug.
Son.
The flip, ultimate. From victim to viper. But I'd anticipated. The packet included his bribes to judges. Flipped favors documented. Try it. My ghosts got longer reach. Phone buzzed. Troopers ETA 5. I holstered. Turned to leave. Happy birthday, Dad. One way to Supermax.
Outside.
Rain lashed the pines, washing blood from my knuckles. The Escalade's engine roared to life, but I idled, watching shadows lengthen. Part of me, the boy, wanted to drag him out, drive into the lake together. Family pyre. But the billionaire? He saw angles, assets seized, but mine? Untouched. Rerouted to trusts in Wyoming. Elena's capture would seal it, her testimony. My anonymous tip. Took the long way south. Backroads twisting like veins. Radio crackled news. Queen's mobster Victor Hale in custody. Linked to unsolved murders. My name whispered, not shouted. Prodigal son surfaces? Prodigal. Biblical. Fitting. The prodigal returns, not with fatted calf, but a slaughter. Manhattan welcomed me with gridlock and glow. The penthouse alias finally home, glass walls overlooking the Hudson, sterile as my soul. I poured bourbon.
Neat.
And scrolled feeds. Dad's arraignment tomorrow. Frankie flipping already. Elena in holding. Demanding counsel. The web tightened. My design. But sleep evaded. Ghosts pacing the marble floors. Mom's face in dreams, smiling. Then submerging. Was the canal mercy? Or murder most mundane? Dad's words nod. Collateral.
For me.
The controversy coiled. Had I avenged? Or exhumed skeletons to dance on their bones? Billionaire's burden. Money buys silence.
Not peace.
Morning brought a visitor, unannounced. The doorman paging hesitant. MS. Vasquez. Sir? Says it's urgent.
Elena?
Already? I buzzed her up. Glock in drawer. Curiosity the bait. She entered disheveled, hair wild. Mascara tracks like war paint. They let me go.
Bail.
But Tommy. She collapsed on the couch. Story spilling, grilled overnight. But my packet saved her. Cooperating witness, they called it. Vic's done. But he named you. In interrogation. Said you orchestrated it all. Revenge for Red Hook. Named me. The flips echo. And you? Testifying against him. She nodded. Eyes hard.
For us.
Clean slate.
Us.
The word dangled. Seductive. She rose. Closing distance. Hand on my arm soft. Insistent. You're free now. We could be. Temptation's whisper. American dream repackaged. Power couple. Laundered legit. My coat hand traced her wrist, pulse racing. Free? I pulled her close. Lips brushing. Nothing's free.
Elena.
The kiss ignited. Hungry. Flips forgotten in flesh's fire. Clothes shed like skins. Penthouse a battlefield of moans and mirrors. After. Tangled sheets. She murmured plans, my billions. Her savvy, tech-firm facade. Came in remnants. We flipped the script.
Tommy.
Make it ours.
Ours.
But dawn light revealed the tattoo on her hip. Frankie's mark. Faded but there. Loyalty's scar. I slipped to the balcony. City sprawling below like a conquered map. Phone silent, no alerts.
Yet. Elena slept.
Innocent in repose. But flips? They multiply. I dialed the fixer, double on Vasquez. And Hale's cell monitor.
Reply done.
She's clean. He's raging, says you're his mirror. Mirror. The word stuck. Revenge's high faded to hollow. The divide sharpening, hero or monster. As horns blared below, I decided play her game, but rig the board. The arraignment was theater. Brooklyn Federal Courthouse, a coliseum of polished wood and perjured souls. I watched from the gallery. Anonymous in a Brooks Brothers suit, Billion masking as blue collar. Dad shuffled in. Orange jumpsuit clashing his silver hair. Cuffs clinking like bad karma. Judge, a stone-faced Irishwoman named O'Connor, banged gavel. Charges rolling. Racketeering. Murder 2, Ellis. The union rep. Conspiracy, Red Hook. Mom's case? Pending. But whispers said exhumation. His lawyer, a slick weasel from the old firm, pled not guilty. Spinning coerced confessions. Dad's eyes scanned the crowd.
Looking mean.
No fear, just cold fire. Flipping victim to avenger. Your boy, he'd mouth later.
Per fixer feed.
Set me up. Elena sat Rose back, veiled in shades. Her testimony cued for afternoon. I slipped out pre-recess. Elevator dinging to street level. Paparazzi swarm. But I ghosted through service door. The plan hummed. Let the trial grind. Leaks time to bury him deeper. But Elena's curveball lingered, our night. Her proposal.
Partnership.
Or ploy. The drive to Soho was gridlock gospel. Horns preaching impatience. She waited at a cafe. Corner booth. Latte steaming like truce. He looked broken, she said.
No preamble.
I slid in. Ordered espresso, double shot. Like my doubts. Broken men flip dangerous. We talked angles. Her deal sweetening. Reduced to accessory if she delivered Dad's ledgers. And you? Immunity for the hacks? I nodded. Half-truth. My digital sins? Buried in layers no subpoena cracks. But undercurrent pulled. Attraction? Yes. But laced with mirrors. Why me? Elena? After him. She leaned. Voice velvet. Vic was storm, destructive. Your lightning, precise. We could build.
Tommy.
Legit. Philanthropy front. Billions healing what he broke.
Healing.
The word mocked. Mom's foundation? Red Hook redevelopment? Or just another flip? Laundering revenge into respectability? I bit, tentative. Trial ends. We talk. Her smile bloomed. Genuine? We walked the galleries. Her arm linked mine. Tourists oblivious to the noir unfolding. But phone vibrated. Fixer. Hale's pushing bail. Bond posted. Moretti widow. Anonymous.
F.
Frankie's ex? Or deeper web. Back at the penthouse. Code session. Tracing the bond. Routed through shells, familiar signatures. Mine. I'd funded it. Automated. Years back. Legacy protection. Irony bit hard. Dad walked free by noon. Headlines flipping. Mob dad out on $10 million, son shadow suspected? He called that night. Burner to burner. Clever.
Tommy.
The money touches me. No rage. Just admiration's edge. Bail hearing tomorrow.
Come.
Show the judge family unity. Trap or olive branch? Unity, I echoed. Like the canal? Laughter.
Dry.
Water under the bridge.
Sun.
Literally. I hung. Elena arriving unbidden. Key-eyed slipped careless. He reached out, she asked. Pouring wine. I nodded, watching her pour, steady hand, but eyes darting. We dined on takeout Thai. Plotting counters. Leak the bond trace. Paint him flight risk. But post-dinner, as city lights twinkled judgment, she straddled me on the couch. Whispers hot. Forget him.
Us.
Sex as distraction fierce. Forgetting. But climax crashed into clarity. Her phone. Screen aglow on the table. Text from unknown. Tell Vic the sun's ripe. Sent 5 minutes ago. Betrayal sting.
Fresh.
I feigned sleep. Waited her exit. Midnight. Cab downstairs. Then action. Trace the number, burner. But Geo to Brooklyn courthouse. She'd flipped.
To him.
For what? More deal? Or love's residue? Dawn raid. I hit the dark web. Unleashing the full payload. Mom's payout docs. Audio of Dad's canal brag. Frankie wire. Long buried. Elena's scam history looped to his. By breakfast. CNN looped. Hail empire implodes. Wife's double-cross exposed. Bail revoked. Her in cuffs again. Dad's call came furious. You poison everything. But under?
Bride.
Bail's dust. Thanks. Son. Flips zenith hate to kinship?
No.
Just survival script. I drove to the cabin alone. Needing air, pines whisper. Lake's lap. Hiked the trail where Dad taught me lies. Sat on the rock overlooking water black as secrets. Controversy brewed. Was Elena pawn or player? Dad monster or maker?
Me.
Avenger or architect of ash? Phone buzzed fixer. Hale attempting suicide. Slit wrists in holding. Note. Tell Tommy. Mirror breaks even. Heart stuttered. Mirror. The divides split wider. Save him? Or let shatter. I chose road back. Tires eating miles. Revenge's climax loomed. Not gun, but gavel. And in that court, no winners, just echoes. The hospital reeked of bleach and broken promises. Riker's echo in fluorescent hell. Dad lay pale in the psych ward. Wrists bandaged white flags. Monitors beeping life's reluctant rhythm. Guards flanked the door. But I flashed a forged visitor pass, billionaire perks. Even here.
Elena.
Transferred to women's lockup. Her flip exposed. Deal dust. The headlines feasted. Hail betrayal bonanza, son's digital dagger. He stirred as I pulled the chair. Eyes cracking open. Hazel. Faded.
But sharp.
Tommy. No accusation. Just exhale. Come to finish? For drip hung like a noose. Morphine slurring his drawl. Finish.
He said.
Elbows on knees. Mirroring his slump. You started it.
Canal.
Red hook. The ticket. Words tumbled. Decades dam breaking. He listened. Gaze drifting to window. City smog smearing the view. Yeah, he admitted. Voice thread. Started with your ma. She found the books. Ellis payoffs. Threatened to walk.
I panicked. Canal was quick. Clean.
In my head.
Clean.
The confession hung. Controversial core. Murder as mercy? For family? And me? The fall guy. He met my eyes. Unflinching. You're fire.
Son.
Needed tempering. Rikers, my gift. Built you unbreakable.
Gift.
Madness or method. The room spun. Ethics knife edge. Why the ticket?
Then.
If unbreakable. He coughed.
Weak.
Saw the money trail. Your hack's brilliant. But you flipping the script? Taking the firm? Couldn't let you eclipse. Exile was. Kindness. Kindness. The flip's apology. Divisive as sin. We talked hours, raw. Unfiltered. His rises, 70s street hustles to 90s power broker. Betrayals as badges. Mom's love.
Real till the end.
Elena's allure. Fleeting. You're the endgame.
Tommy.
My mirror, better blade. Better. The word warmed. Treacherous. Guards signaled time. I rose. Hand on his shoulder. First touch not violent. Trial. Truth out. He nodded.
Sly.
Or flip it. Drop the packet. Weary build, your billions. My streets. Temptation serpent. Coiling. Family 2.0. Laundered blood.
Outside.
Rain slicked the lot. Wipers slashing doubt. Elena's arraignment overlapped. I watched remote.
Fit hacked.
She pled. Tearful. Coerced by Victor. Tommy knew helped. Helped. Her flip's revenge. Dragging me down. Court buzzed. Judge eyeing bail denial. Back in the penthouse. Code war. Scrub her claims. Plant counters, her Vegas vows. Scam ringleader. By night. Her story crumbled. Headlines shifting. Hail wife's lies unravel. Son vindicated? Vindicated. Hero's halo. Ill fit. But dad's offer nod. Rebuild? With whose hands? Clean or crimson? Sleepless. I paced glass walls. City a chessboard below. Billionaire's paradox. Wealth whispers choices. But ghosts shout louder. Trial week dawned brutal, O'Connor presiding. Jury pool culled from tabloid readers. Day 1. Opening salvos.
Da painting dead as Scarface.
Defense flipping, tragic survivor. Elena testified Tuesday. Armored in remorse. Victor manipulated us all. Tommy victim 2.
Victim.
My gut twisted. Pity or ploy. Cross-exam shredded her. My planted docs. Her offshore halls. She cracked. Sobbing. He made me, but whispers rippled. Sun set up. The divide deepened.
Public fracturing, forum à blase, elle sœur.
Monster. Or framed patriarch. Junior. Avenger. Or puppet master. Dad took stand Thursday. Silver-tongued, even shackled. I aired. For family. Flipped sins to sermons, Rikers as tough love, Canal as tragic lapse. Jury leaned. Women soft on his charm. Men nodding the provider spin.
Me?
Called as witness. Reluctant. Under oath. Truth serum burned. The hacks. The leaks. The gun at the cabin. Revenge, I admitted. For the grave he dug.
Gasps. O'Connor's gevel correct.
Recess. Hallway ambush, reporters. Mike's thrusting. Mr. Hail, billionaire blood money, fund the takedown. Was the ticket attempted murder? I ghosted. But doubt clung. My testimony sealed his fate. Or mine. Verdict loomed Friday. Tension electric. Elena cornered me pre-deliberation. Uncuffed. Deal tentative. He's guilty.
But you?
We flipped together, Sue the city. Your fall. Flip eternal. I laughed.
Cold.
You're the flipper. Elena. Enjoy the view from downstairs. Alone in gallery as jury filed in. Heart hammered. Foreman rose. Guilty. All counts. Cheers. Sobs. Dad's head bowed. But eyes met mine, not hate, but handover. Your move.
Son. Outside.
Storm broke, literal. Thunder applauding chaos. Bailiffs hauled him.
Elena remanded.
Freeway home. Radio eulogized. Hail dynasty doomed. Legacy of lies. But my phone lit. Prison contact. Hail senior. Appeal filed. Alibi witness you. Age 10. Canal night. Alibi. The twist uncoiled. Had I slept through? Or buried deeper? Memory flickered, Dad tucking me. Early bed.
Chant.
Mom's kiss.
Late.
Controversy's crown. Was I complicit? Boy witness to murder? The appeal hit like a sucker punch. Filed overnight from Supermax. Dad's last flip. Desperate alchemy turning lead to gold.
Alibi me.
Swearing under oath at 10 that he was home. Bedtime story and all. Memory's fog lifted slow. That night. Rain lashing windows. Mom's car keys jangling late. Errands, she'd said. Dad's arm around me. TV droning NYPD blue. Did he slip out after? Or was it her, flipping first? Staging the dive for insurance. Dad covering? The motion demanded my testimony. Subpoena incoming. Media frenzy reignited. Hail son, key to Dad's freedom or final betrayal. Forums split tribal. Justice for Victor, his charmers. Gravediggers, my hackers. Elena. From her cell. Leaked letters. Tommy knew. Complicit kid. Her flips venom. But seed planted, doubts weed. I retreated to the cabin. Adirondacks isolation bomb. Hiked the lake trail. Boots crunching leaves like bones. Water mirrored sky's bruise. And there, on the dock's edge, clarity crashed. The canal wasn't murder soul, it was mutual destruction. Mom's diaries hidden in cabin attic. Unearthed now, spilled. Debts to Ellis. Her forging signatures for Dad's scams. He's drowning us, one entry wept. Last page. Tonight. End it. Insurance for Tommy. Her flip suicide framed accident. Pay out her gift. Dad covered. Twisted to murder rap. For me? Or control? The appeals hook, if Mom drove in deliberate. His mercy dissolved. Manslaughter at worst. Maybe dropped. My testimony? Pivot point. Life or blood? Free the beast?
Truth.
Bury him eternal? Phone died in the pines, no signal. Mercy. Nights blurred. Bourbon by fire. Ghosts debating. Billionaire's curse. Options paralyze. Elena called via smuggled line. Testify true. He's monster. We rise on ashes.
We.
Her flip to partner again? Or siren? Back in city. Subpoenas served. Penthouse raid. Feds combing for hacks. I lawyered up. Met Dad's counsel in a midtown steakhouse. Shadows long. He wants you there, the weasel said. Personal. Supermax visit. Glass partition. Phones crackling static. Dad looked smaller. Jumpsuit swallowing frame. The alibi.
Tommy.
You remember. A statement. Not question. I gripped receiver. Knuckles white. Remember what? Your story. Or truth. He leaned. Eyes mirrors. Truth's flexible.
Son.
Mom flipped, chose the water. I pulled her back. Too late. Covered for her sanity's sake. Your sake.
Sanity.
The word divided. Noble cover. Or narcissistic rewrite. And red hook.
And he sighed.
Theatrical. Mistakes. But family redeems. Redeem. The appeal hearing loomed. Virtual. Me on stand. World watching. Night before.
Elena visitait Parolles.
Her deal sealed. Penthouse tense. Wine poured but untouched. Don't free him, she urged.
Close.
He's poison. But her touch lingered. Flips allure. Us clean. Billions for good.
Good.
Philanthropy veil over blood? Hearing dawned gray. Courtroom virtual, my feed from home office. Judge O'Connor stern on screen. DA grilled. Mr.
Hale.
Recall that night. Memories theater. Rain. Stories. Mom's kiss. Dad was home, I said. Truth? Half. Gasps off camera. Dad's team cheering muted. Across. Home when? Full night. Probe deep. Elena's eyes. Watching remote. Hope? Fear? I paused. Screen freezing my face. Twists precipice. He was home. Till the call.
Mauvais accident.
He left after. Lies hybrid, alibi cracked. But not shattered.
Canal. Assisted suicide.
Cover-up? O'Connor adjourned. Verdict pending. Media exploded. Son's testimony splits Hale legacy, mercy or mayhem. Debates raged, podcasts pitting flawed father versus vindictive heir. Elena texted, brave. We talk. Dad. Smuggled note.
Proud.
Finish it. Weeks crawled. Appeals grinding. I funneled billions, anonymous. Mom's foundation. Red Hook rebuild. Hacker scholarships. Redemption stitch. Fraying.
Elena met.
Alliance tentative. Lovers now. Flips forgiven? We're the survivors, she whispered. Sheets tangled. Verdict dropped autumn gold. Reduced manslaughter.
10 years.
Eligible parole 3. Compromises gray. Dad called. You flipped smart.
Son.
Visit. Elena. Leave him rot. I chose neither. Burned bridges. Assets to trusts. Vanished digital. Cabin permanent. Lake's edge my throne. Billionaire, hermit. Revenge's echo fading. But twist's tale. Holiday card arrived. Postmarked Supermax. Inside. Amtrak ticket. One way, Adirondacks. Back scroll, come home. Forgive or join. His flip eternal. I burned it. Ashes to wind. But in the smoke. Question lingered. Right or wrong? Hero? Villain? Or just Hale? The divide endures, readers. You choose.